Hi, my name is Robert C Ayala, a real Democrat running for the Democratic nomination to stop the campaigns of Joe Biden, Donald Trump, or any candidate telling us how to live, what to ingest, or how to look. How is everyone doing today? Whether you're here or not, whether you watch this later on YouTube, I want to thank you for stopping by. The first thing I want to do is I want to talk about this term, what is a real Democrat? Well, simply put, a real Democrat is a person who puts you first. People before profits. You first. It's that simple. If we start every iteration, every action, or every idea with putting all people first, we will always get to the right path. So I want to just quickly go over the schedule again. We're here, or I'm here Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 9:15 p.m. until my intent is to have folks jump on the stream, ask questions. It's pretty humid right here in New York right now. My stream lags a little bit, so I apologize for that. When I don't see anybody here, what I'm going to do is go over just some of the daily tips of what I would do relative to the news that's out there. And since we already went over some of the news yesterday, today really what I wanted to do was take a couple moments and go through a couple more of my policy positions. And so I know that we've gone through raising the standard deduction. I know that we've gone through closing the border and the impact that has on everybody in America, all people. And third, I really haven't talked about, but I have talked about a little bit concerning the 9 warships with our Arctic front and Alaska. And so I think everybody sees that's pretty evident today. I'm not sure there's consensus whether everyone feels there's a need to build more ships, but I think after watching a certain country bomb apartment buildings and civilian infrastructures, there's really no reason for Americans to not put our safety first. So, that's something that we can have a debate about. Maybe 9 goes to 4, but that's something that we have to have a conversation on. Number 4th, I think, is what I want to talk about today, just real quickly. All businesses with revenue under $10 million will be a line item deduction to net income up to $250,000 a year for machinery and equipment. I'm not taking depreciation away. This is just a line item deduction. So if at the end of the day you're a business and you have $50,000 worth of income and you have other family members or people in your household and you really need a piece of machinery or something today and you want to take that whole $50,000 and not pay any income taxes on it and invest it in a piece of equipment that is being made in America, I think those are the things that we can do. If we're going to keep giving tax rebates to solar companies, and a lot of companies outside of this country get American tax breaks too, because a lot of the companies that operate outside of America are owned in some way. Doesn't matter really what the percentage is. If they're owned by Americans, even if they have 99% of their shareholders are not American. And so they get all the tax benefits relative to that individual and having American ownership within that corporation. So what I would like to do is say that if you're a business in America and any income that you have, if you want to buy a piece of equipment, it's going to help you make more money, let's do it, and let's make that happen so that you don't have to pay taxes on that. You can invest in that piece of equipment, and you don't actually have to take out a loan either. So if you have $50,000 worth of income, you could, in theory, take the income and buy the machine, or you could loan it out. But it would be better to just take the income and buy the equipment, and then you don't have to worry about carrying debt forward. So again, all businesses with revenue under 10 million, that might go up to 20 million. I just don't know the head count. There'll be people smarter than me on that relative to the head count versus the dollars. But my goal is, it's kind of funny because when you go to the Small Business Administration, anybody who's starting a business in America, if you're going to the Small Business Administration, you should just do a U-turn and go somewhere else. We have a great company here in where I live called Wegmans. They're a great grocery store, very successful, but they're a private company. And even though they have tons and tons and tons of money, our government calls them a small business. And so I always say, well, if the government's going to call Wegmans a small business, then I'm a flea, right? We're fleas. So if you really need funding as a small business, then going to the SBA is not where you should seek out. And that's just one of those things that, it just seems like there's so much money, and now that everyone talks about small business, and the Small Business Administration is going to do this, and we got a secretary, but the actual people who start those small businesses really don't ever meet the bar to get access to the funding or to the program parameters relative to their business. So this will be a good one. If you put together a little landscape or plumbing or whatever you do, electrician, PC, whatever your business is, you put together and you have 25 grand, 30 grand of income, and you think a piece of equipment will help you get to the next step, I want to encourage you to take that income, all of it, and invest in America. Buy a piece of an American equipment, and you will not pay taxes on that, and you could still depreciate other things, because maybe you don't want to take, maybe you need some income. So if you need half of that, 25,000, 12 grand to be income, you have your 12,000 of income, and you want to put 12 to that, but you really don't want a line item for that year, then use regular depreciation rules. But this is something that I hope will help businesses get on board with my campaign and help jumpstart the economy, because I know everyone keeps talking about AI and AI and AI, but at the end of the day, machine learning needs the input. And so if highly intelligent people and people who know how to run things maintain staying out of that window, and they don't put the, it's just, I think the distraction sometimes is that AI is going to replace everything. But if we focus on what's going on right now and how we can create jobs, real jobs in America, then we can actually put forward policies that help all businesses, and nobody has to go to the Small Business Administration, fill out an application, and take it to a bank that says they don't want to complete that application, even though they're an SBA bank. So the other thing I want to say before I jump onto some other things is, I think it's really important when we're talking about campaigns today, right? And we're talking about the President of the United States. And I just want to make sure that my video and everything is running here. But I think this is the most important for me. Prior presidents claim to care about you. But I told everybody I'm going to be 49 years old at the end of this month. Excuse me. But I'm not so sure. Clinton went in there and locked up a whole bunch of people, called a whole bunch of people like me super predators, enacted policies that were just detrimental to black and brown families in America, and everybody cheered him when he lied to a grand jury and didn't get any charges. Bush, he took the surplus that Clinton actually created, which was good. Clinton did create that surplus. He also did it, I believe, with Newt Gingrich. Sorry if I said your name there wrong, Newt. But Bush took all of the positive that we had in that period of time, and instead of just killing Osama bin Laden and staying in Afghanistan, he took us into a war in Iraq that, although it toppled Saddam Hussein, and that's a good thing, it kept America's footprint there for 20 years, right? And so he gave us a long war. Bush gave us a long war, and that was one of the reasons why Obama won his election, right? But Obama, what did he campaign on? He campaigned on health care, but he took more taxes, and no one got better health care at all. No one, not one bit. We got penalties for not buying health insurance. We got confusion in the marketplace. We had insurance companies dump catastrophic plans. The country as a whole the people who didn't have health insurance, there may be more people who have health insurance with Obamacare today, but there are more people who go without health care net effect, because the real world consequences of Obamacare are very expensive health insurance plans that cost between $6,000 and $10,000 a year that the average person, including myself, cannot afford, right? Trump, he gave you back 50 cents a week in your paycheck. I think everybody might have forgotten that, but that's what he did. He gave back 50 cents a week in your paycheck, but it's coming at a cost, folks. It's out of your Social Security. So the Social Security portion that you pay out of your check right now, that 50 cents comes back to you. In the world that we live in right now with inflation, you know, truthfully, that 50 cents would be better in the Social Security fund, because at least the government is trying to invest it in a way so that it doesn't completely go bankrupt and stave off, you know, having to pay all these people, not having to pay all these people that they're currently paying. So Trump gave us back 50 cents a week, but he took it out of your Social Security. So anybody under the age of 50 years old, your Social Security when you retire will be less, because you got back 50 cents a week pretty much for the last 4 years, 2 years, I believe, at the end of Trump's term, and Biden hasn't done anything to change it. So we should actually take the 50 cents back out from your pocket. I'm sorry, but it's Social Security. It shouldn't have been given to you, and with the standard deduction going up, you'll have more money. So I'll take the 50 cents back and put it into your Social Security for another day. And then finally with Biden, everything in life costs more. It's almost like it's part two Obama, but I can't say that, because when Obama was handed the economy, it was just tanking. The whole country, housing, speculators, the investment markets, everyone bet wrong, and everyone was suffering, right? So I don't know, but with Biden, like, there seems to be some issue to make my life just miserable. I mean, gas has not been under $4 since this guy took office. My utility bills to heat my house and to cool my home are at least 20% higher. Nothing is cheap. The whole egg debacle, where we had 9 months of eggs for $5, right? All the food, 3 times the cost. They take food out of the boxes now, so you're paying more money for less stuff, and it's not going to change, because they want to force electric cars on you. And you know, the reality is the grid and the people as a whole and my pocketbook can't afford electric cars. I have a minivan. Yep, I have a Toyota minivan, a Sienna, right? And I put about $35 a month in it, and it gets me X amount of mileage. And to get that same mileage, I may spend $30 or $40 for electricity, but where I live, dollar for dollar, the cost of electricity is doubled for its delivery. So if I have $1 of electricity cost, I pay another $1 for it to be delivered. And it's the same for gasoline or natural gas. So there's no efficiency about it. And if you are an electrical engineer, or I think most engineers may or may not know this, electricity at its source to its end user, me and you, is 70% of it is lost. So that means for every 100 bits of energy that the utility sends to your home, 30 arrives out of 100. So we're not going to see any kind of real downward cost. In fact, everything's going to cost more. Your home insurance is going to go up, because the fire department cannot put out batteries that are lithium made. And if you want 2 of those cars in your garage, it's just going to go up in smoke. So, you first. This is what I promise. Promise not to take any of your money for anything other than defense and Social Security. Together, we can make sure America's next leaders are capable of caring, speaking, and engaging with all Americans. Not just the winning side. You hear? Not just the winning side. That's one of the biggest things that bothers me so much. Everybody says they don't like Trump, and whatever your take is on Trump, who cares? Let's not make everything in life about Trump. But what about all the people who did like Trump? Are they all your enemies? Is that what we're saying today? You disagree with them politically, but you don't want to live with them now, and everyone's a wacko? There's no room for sanity? Well, I don't care. You guys can do that. I'm going to keep the friends that I have. And I have friends on all sides of the spectrum, and I'm not going to change that. And if I get into arguments with friends on things that are politically divisive, or that really, like for example, I don't argue with my male friends about abortion. If it's one of those weird things, since I know that Ohio, the Democrats think they're gonna push the abortion issue even more, but it's just stupid for men to have the discussion of abortion. I never, probably maybe once in my whole life, and I have 3 sisters, have I ever had the discussion of abortion with a female. Funny, the person who is affected the most never has asked for my opinion. I don't think they've ever asked for any male's opinion, but apparently all the men think they want their opinion. So I just think in that regard, we have to just back off and let people be free. Okay, so America's next leaders should be capable of caring, speaking, and goes to you, Biden. You don't come out of the White House, so I'm going to be here, and I'm going to do what I can to make noise, and I think more people should jump in and make noise. I think there should be a big field of candidates, because we have real consequences on the other side about people who want to dictate the way that you live, how you feel, how you dress, what you do, what you ingest. And these are real threats to us. And there has to be someone who has the ability to speak up and defend the values and the points of freedom. So those who hide from the people should be shunned by the people. So again, I just think that if Biden can't get out and go to campaign events and bring, he doesn't have to have Obama numbers. I think the whole Obama thing and filling up, football stadiums with people, I think that we're over that, right? Because, there was a racial component first maybe, and we don't really have that anymore, right? I mean, Trump had a lot of people in his office. Biden has a lot of people in his office. There's diversity everywhere. So we're really not arguing about that type of diversity per se within the government. So it's just, it's one of those things that those who hide from the people should be shunned by the people. I think that if you're going to run for president, you need to get out. And even me, my job requires me to speak in front of people. So, but I rather speak one-on-one with people or in groups. I'm a human being. It's kind of hard to really talk to a crowd of 5,000 people unless I'm doing this. I would rather get a couple groups of a couple hundred people and mingle and have a conversation and have debate and have people, ask me questions. You just can't do that in a stadium. So nobody's asking Biden to be Obama, but you have to not sit in your basement. I mean, what's the vision for America? What are you articulating for us? I'm giving America point by point by point of only 2 or 3 things that I want to do. Really, the only thing I really care about doing is the standard deduction. If somebody could come help me get that done for all of Americans, I think that would be a success for me, and I would feel happy about that. Because the government side tends to have a lot of filth in it, right? And I don't think anybody's really going to go in there and change the greediness of how people individually think, right? So those who hide from the people should be shunned by the people. So I just think we should make America free again and take back the people's government. So I want to jump over here and just see, I'm still probably no counting here with the likes or the concurrent users, because the Google algorithm is another whole thing. So I wanted to jump on the day's news. It was one of those things If you jumped over here, thanks for listening to my rant for a little bit. But I want to ask the question, did Trump save Biden? It's a valid question. Did Trump save Biden's life? Look at this is from CNBC, okay? So we got a really favorable left-wing liberal media source, and I'm going to explain that in a minute because they say some things that I'm not understanding, and we're only going to take a couple moments with it. So first, the social media company owned by former President Donald Trump in March tipped off the FBI about threats made by the Utah man who was fatally shot Wednesday by FBI agents as they attempted to arrest him for threatening to kill President Joe Biden. Look at that. Now, what I say is they say former President Donald Trump, owned by former President Donald Trump. So I don't know if they're saying the company is not owned or they're saying Donald Trump's former, but you know, I think we always call him President Obama, President Bill Clinton, President Carter. We really, these former terms are unfamiliar with me, but Trump still owns Truth Social, but I'll get to that in a minute. So Truth Social notified the FBI after Craig Robertson made threats to kill Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg Jr. Terrible, he shouldn't do that, according to senior law enforcement officials who spoke on NBC News. Bragg is prosecuting Trump for allegedly falsifying business records related to 2016 hush money payment to porn star Stormy Daniels. And again, I hate to deviate on this, folks, but we just need to just remember in New York State, folks, because I live in New York, and all of New Yorkers should be aware of this, okay? So what you have is you have the New York City District Attorney again, Alvin Bragg. He is saying that because Trump paid off the porn star, he did that to save his election and not to save his wife. And that requires you to have the ability to read somebody's mind. But let's just say for a moment we ignored that one issue. What the district attorney in New York has to do is he has to go into a New York City courtroom with 12 jurors. First, he has to pierce attorney-client privilege, right? Because they got Michael Cohen, who is Trump's lawyer, right? So there's issue one, folks. You know, when you're going to talk to your lawyer, and CLR Bruce Rivers is a YouTube lawyer, I think out of Minnesota. He's a good guy, but be careful now, because if you go to talk to a lawyer, the government can pinch them and make them fold on you. So Mr. DA Braggs is going to bring Michael Cohen to the courtroom, who's going to say that he took $130,000 from Donald Trump, and he gave it to Stormy Daniels, who in fact was extorting the president, right? She's the one that, if you don't give me the money, I go to the press. My book, that's extortion. I thought John Gotti, extortion was one of his charges. Maybe I'm wrong on these things, okay? So they're going to use Stormy Daniels to say that she was extorting the president of the United States, or the one of the nominees or one of the candidates for president, right? And then her lawyer, Michael Avante, who's doing a 20-year sentence in California, they're gonna use him too, who is the other lawyer snitching and backstabbing Donald Trump. Michael Cohen, their own lawyer. Do you hear this? Like, this is in a courtroom. So when people in America hear that black people and brown people say the system is rigged, this is how the system is rigged. 100%, because us normal people don't have the money to pay for lawyers. So they just come in and they threaten you with 50 years of your life going bye-bye, just like that. And that's why the prisons in this country are filled up. Yes, there are criminals who need to be in jail. Yes, there are criminals who have done terrifying things, but there's a lot of people in the United States sitting in prison for non-violent crimes. Non-violent crimes sitting in there for 3, 5, and 10 years, right? And our district attorney in New York City, one of the largest cities in the United States of America, the city of bastions of freedom, the Statue of Liberty, is going to walk in a known stripper and a known lawyer who embezzled millions of dollars from his own inept client who's serving 20 years, and a known lawyer who ratted on his own client, turncoat on his own client, violated the ethics of the canon. 3 crooks to what? Insinuate what Trump's mind was? Who cares? Half of us think that Trump probably paid the 130 to silence her. The other half don't. But here's the thing. It didn't get silenced. And she still got the 130,000. Not to be a jerk, but if it were me, I'd be asking for a refund. Okay, enough of that. But again, it's just one of the things. So Bragg is prosecuting Trump for allegedly falsifying business records related to that payment. And so my question is, did Trump save Biden's life? You know, for all the hate that Trump had for Obama, and believe me, I hated the birth certificate. The birth certificate was the most insightful bit of nonsense that you could ever come up with, and Americans just bought it and ate it. Is he born here? Is he not born here? Is he born in Hawaii? Is he an American? But hey, when Trump got in office, he didn't do anything to Obama. He didn't take a security clearance. He didn't go find reasons to arrest him. He just let him be. And so the question is, did Trump save Biden's life? Now, I tell everybody I'm not for Trump, and we need to do everything we can to not have Trump or Biden in office, and that's what I'm trying to do for my side. Now, on to the Truth Social. I was just not really sure, and I wanted to make sure that I wasn't, things move so fast in these worlds. But on Google Play, Trump's Truth Social is the number 101 download in the country. And I think that's, I apologize, in the Apple Store. That's pretty good. I wish I could be 101. That's not bad. So, on to some more news. And sorry, it's just, again, we're gonna keep talking about Elon Musk. I don't care. You can do what you want, Musk. I really have a distaste for pretentious children and your pretentious child, and you have to understand where I'm coming from. And I didn't ship in here from another country, and I didn't ship into another country and then have bad things to say about the political leaders of that country. You challenged Mark Zuckerberg to a fight. You challenged him to a cage fight. Come on, free speech guy. Don't be scared. All right, don't be scared. Oh, I know what it is. Maybe you saw him in the ring with Gracie. Talk about, you shouldn't lie, okay? Because, I can call my doctor and I can get a doctor's note too. I'm sure you can. So Elon doesn't want to have a fight with Mark Zuckerberg anymore. They were going to cage fight. It's kind of funny. The reason I know this is because one of my kids and his friends were, everybody's like thinking, hey, let's this will be a fun thing, will it be a good fight and everything. And the reality is it looks as if Elon Musk is trying really hard to get out of his cage fight with Mark Zuckerberg. On Sunday, the billionaire said the fight with Zuckerberg, if it happens, would be live streamed on his platform X. First of all, I take offense with everyone taking Professor Xavier. Professor Xavier is Professor X, okay? Hello. That is a Marvel asset. Disney, I would sue. Disney, sue. Professor X is, in fact, a Marvel asset. But the same day, Musk said he needed to get his neck, and his upper back, before floating a date. And then he comes back and says he wants a debate. So that's the light news today, okay? I want to thank everybody for stopping in. I want to thank you if you catch this on YouTube. I want to remind everyone, please, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. These are real questions, folks. My paperwork's filed. I'm legal candidate. I know the Democrats are pumping up RFK. Somebody who's done heroin for a number of years, and I don't know if he was disbarred, but got kicked out of the DA's office. So just kind of seems weird to me that we would replace one old geezer with another old geezer. But I really mean it. A real Democrat is somebody who always puts you first. And I'm a real Democrat. I promise to put you first. I don't have an ego. I'm actually probably the less egomaniac person in the world. I get frustrated when people ask questions and you have a good answer and people don't always, they shoot the messenger, as I like to say. But outside of that, my principles, my convictions, and who I am have always been about you. Nobody else. I mean, it took a while for me to get to you because I had to take care of myself first to get to you. And sometimes in this world, it takes all of us a little bit of time to get there. And so as we look forward to another day, another election, and all these people on the Republican side and even Joe Biden keep telling you what they're going to do to make your life worse, I just want to ask you, what can I do to make your life better? And what can I do to make your life more free? My promise would be, again, the first 10 months, what's the problem? I don't understand. You go around all 50 states. Is it that big of a deal? The American people pay for Air Force One to go all over the world. I think there's 2 Air Force Ones, right? We got Marine One, and look at all the gas we could save if we just stayed in America with the president for 10 months. What is wrong with demanding that the people we send to Washington actually sit down at the table and get something done for us? Well, that's a joke. They're never going to. So help me get the standard deduction raised up to $26,000. And I promise you, if you go back and do the calculations, you'll see that it'll put money back in every single one of your pockets who are working today. Thank you so much. Once again, I'm Robert C Ayala, a real Democrat running for the Democratic nomination to stop the campaigns of Joe Biden, Donald Trump, or any of the Republicans looking to tell us how to looking to tell us how to live, what to ingest, or how to look. Thanks so much and have a good night. And I'll see you next Tuesday.